New York Times is on my ops' ass. Dude, right? It's not a right too early situation with stuff like that. I know I'm gonna be covering the New York Times Gamba article as well. So the thing is, the media moves much slower than I do. Like traditional media especially moves much slower than I do. In a lot of instances, it requires, like, I will give you a little bit of inside baseball here. There's a lot of journalists in here that already know this, but many of you might not. But it takes a long time and sometimes a lot of hand-holding and a lot of convincing to be able to get an article like that pulled off, okay? So there's a reason why someone like CoffeeZilla or someone like myself can be on the ball on an issue like this and consistently talk about it for almost like a year or something until the New York Times even figures out that there is a serious issue, right? And obviously part of the reason why, there's downsides to what we do. Like, for example, an investigation conducted by the New York Times into the dark and predatory world of crypto casinos will most likely have a lot more information in it than something that even myself or CoffeeZilla could potentially find, right? But yeah, but it's the downside is like basically 2 years too late almost, where like these guys have been able to basically create an incredible foothold. And not only that, but also by the time this article comes out, right? By the time this article comes out, they've already moved on to the next thing. So like right now, the other meta, like this is obviously still an ongoing problem, right? Like massive gambling issues, massive gambling addiction problems that they're creating for a lot of young people and whatnot. But and Eric obviously Eric Toller, shouts out to Eric Toller. He's a great investigative reporter. I'm a fan of his work. He played a big role in this article. So the current meta right now has shifted beyond crypto gambling, or at least like what the crypto gambling casinos have been doing is basically paying creators on every social media platform to consistently funnel people in, and also engage in some sort of media manipulation as well, whether it be botting the shit out of Reddit and different subreddits, LSF and the like, or whether it be the clip accounts, the clip farming accounts that they have, that they utilize for whichever, like they've moved on from purchasing and sponsoring major streamers into this new method of finding and plucking young talent and trying to make them into notable figures, right? Investing into them and potentially locking them into 360 deals with a management company. And that's the reason why it's not an accident. If you are a Kick streamer, if you get a Kick contract, you get a lot of coverage from a lot of these blue check mark accounts nonstop that are specifically designed to create controversy and to create drama potentially against like people that these guys are beefing with, or consistently try to make them go viral. But then also there are entire Discord servers with bounties dedicated to like highlighting and promoting these Kick streamers in general. And they have massive there's a massive TikTok presence. That's part of the reason why you see stuff like, you know, this new guy Clavicular popping off everywhere, right? You might be wondering, like, where the fuck did this guy come from? Well, he was already, he had like a decent TikTok presence in the lookism, looks maxing, BP community, black pill community. And then he became a Kick streamer. And at the age of 19, he has like done a shit ton of plastic surgery to himself and stuff like that. But once he became a Kick streamer, you saw his clips pop up way more. He's going viral with way higher frequency. And that's because there are so many of these like booster accounts that are all over TikTok. So while the New York Times is covering this shit, you know, they've already, the meta has even moved on from this, even though this is still an ongoing issue. So obviously we'll cover this today. Eric Toller's piece on it. Crypto casinos have become a multi-billion-dollar industry. One of the ways they've grown is with an unusual marketing strategy, paying millions to internet celebrities to live stream themselves gambling for hours. A lengthy investigation from me, Nail Betty, and Jenny Rentas. Okay. We spoke to dozens of streamers, casino employees, mental health professionals, and industry insiders to understand how the new world of crypto casinos came about and how they aggressively market with live streamers who are popular with teenage boys. While some crypto casinos have big-time endorsements, Stake has deals with UFC, Formula One Racing, a Premier League team. They also rely on an army of online influencers and guerrilla social marketing. Social media marketing. You've probably seen the Stake and other casino logos on Twitter/IG everywhere, right? Like, this is an insane one, but 14-year-old Emmett Till was dragged from his house when he was kidnapped, tortured, and lynched by a mob of white people after falsely being accused. Conan O'Brien today accused Drake of raping a minor at the Oscars, and the culture celebrated and laughed. Lol. Is this what the culture feeling? Lying on innocent black men. Gamble responsibly. Sponsored by Stake. We first started the story after noticing Vitaly Z playing Stake casino games while doing this pedophile catch videos where he would sometimes play on his phone with the alleged predators on stream. So yeah, there's the article as well for that one. Young men are particularly interested in the streamers recruited to gamble in crypto casinos like Stake, Roobet, and Rainbet. For example, XQC and Aiden Ross were popular gaming streamers on Twitch before being paid millions to stream on Kick, where they gamble for hours every week. A young man we spoke to who graduated from high school in May told us that he started gambling in crypto casinos when he was 14. He lost over $10,000 gambling and even took out personal loans to chase his losses. We found many stories such as this. And for those of you who, this is something that I've talked about quite extensively, as you guys know. This is something that I warned about quite frequently, as you guys know. And of course, they never let me get over that. Like, virtually every single one of these guys that went and got the kick bag became my number one ops, my number one enemies, and consistently would shit on me. And the irony is there that, like, many of their fans that initially were also saying, like, fuck Hassan, he's a snake, he's a bad person for calling this shit out, he's actually evil, he's a hypocrite, yada, yada, yada. Many of them also now agree with my position. Many of them also now basically realize, like, yeah, this was actually pretty bad. It ruined the content for us, whatever. They still hate me, but at least they are of sound mind on this issue, you know? But often these gamblers told us video games with gambling features drew them in. The three I heard most often: NBA 2K with its Gacha S packs, Fortnite through wagering, CSGO with its skin market. Many gambling streamers got famous with these games, especially 2K. Roobet and many other crypto casinos are not legal in the United States, but U.S. gamblers, teenagers, and adults alike can dodge regulations with relative ease through the use of VPNs and verified accounts used with IDs purchased online, often from people in Africa and Asia. We spoke to a Canadian man who makes money just under 20 grand in 2025 through this fall, creating accounts on crypto casinos after purchasing photos of IDs in Kenya and India. He sells these accounts, and he also uses his referral code to get a fraction of what they wager. This referral system is a bedrock of crypto casino marketing. Streamers drive signups to their code, which rewards them based on the account's wagers. Often, this is also how casinos assess streamers' success. More wagered on your referral code equals a better deal from the casino. And for those of you that don't know how this stuff works, obviously, just like in the world of drug dealing, the thing that matters the most is the whales, okay? Casinos and drug dealers rely on people who are deeply addicted. It's not the, casual gamblers and people like that casinos make money off of. Like someone like myself, I am a casual gambler, okay? I have a lot of disposable income, and I will go and I will travel to Las Vegas and I'll drop a bag every now and then. But ultimately, I am not, despite the fact that I have a very addictive personality, I've never been, luckily, addicted to gambling, right? I've never been addicted to gambling because I just, do it in a very responsible and controlled way where it's like, this is money that I'm lighting on fire for entertainment. And it's fine if I lose this much, but I don't go beyond the amount that I've lost, right? So someone like myself is not a real earner for the casinos. However, someone who is deeply addicted, that makes much less money than I do, right? But is deeply, deeply addicted to gambling, is going to be a much more valuable person to a casino because they are willing to take out loans so they can continue gambling. They don't know when to stop. They will never stop. Like, they have a deep and crippling addiction. Those are the people that casinos make money off of. The reason why the marketing for gambling, for regular casinos even, revolves around casting as wide a net as possible by trying to get as many people in through the door with, like, you know, your first one is on us. Your first bet is on us. Here's $100 for you to do your first ever bet. The reason why they do that is because they want to cast as wide a net as possible so that they can find those whales. Okay, this is what casinos consider whales. That's why they give them a lot of benefits to hook them and then to keep them there to the best of their ability, right? So you can have someone who's super wealthy, who is not seen as like a valuable enough client to make money to the casino, as opposed to someone who is middle class or someone who is poor, that will be a much more reliable outlet for the casino, much more reliable earner for the casino, because they will dump a lot more money than they actually have. So basically, it's a very dark part of the business, but it does revolve around preying on the most vulnerable. And crypto casinos work in the exact same way. If a regular casino that has to be in a physical space requires a shit ton of entertainment to keep people inside of that casino, pumping oxygen, taking away the clocks from the walls, regulating the temperature in the rooms to make sure that you don't know exactly what time it is and you're getting free drinks in the process of gambling, crypto casinos also have to have an entertainment function or a draw to draw you in to the room, right? To the online casino. And that is Kick.tv, right? So that's where Kick comes in. Kick is the entertainment that is supposed to, at the very least, directly bring in new clientele. And if they can't do that on Twitch, because Twitch has banned Stake.com's crypto gambling initiatives and sponsorships, then they have to create their own. That's how we arrived at Kick. I didn't know that. That's good on Twitch. That's so funny that we have people who are in this community that didn't even know that that was happening. You know what's really funny about that? There were a couple streamers who were actually very upset about this when some of the top streamers were getting paid a ton of money to do crypto gambling and getting paid. I was one of the streamers. That's what I was trying to describe early on. There is a reason why so many of the people that went to Kick, some of the top content creators on this platform, from Asmongold to XQC to Trainwrecks and all these other people, they all despise me and Pokey specifically as well, because they think that we were the most responsible for that website, or for Stake, the crypto gambling casino, getting banned off of this platform. Yeah. Anyway, so could you explain what would be the difference between Vegas residencies and entertainment sphere of Vegas in general? Easy. Vegas is a physical location. Therefore, that automatically creates a natural barrier of entry for young people to be able to go and gamble. Also, there is a shit ton more regulation in Las Vegas casinos as opposed to a crypto casino that is based out of some island somewhere, some island nation somewhere where there's very little regulation, very little opportunity to legally, very little opportunity for legal recourse. Okay. The other side of the story also is, because I'm not like across the board anti-vices. I've never been that. I'm much closer to social libertarianism when it comes to consumption than an authoritarian when it comes to consumption. That's not a secret. Something that I've talked about quite a bit. I myself have gambled as well, and continue to do so. I don't have that major of an issue, but for me, it's the immediate access that you have on your phone with these gambling apps that makes it infinitely more dangerous. It's the cryptocurrency and the unregulated nature of this that makes it infinitely more dangerous. And it is the direct marketing. Because the thing is, you can have a Vegas residency, right? You can have a Vegas residency in a casino, but the person that's doing a Vegas residency in the casino isn't stopping in the middle of their, entertainment session. Like Bruno Mars isn't stopping in between songs. He sings apata apata and then goes, And right now, I'm going to go, drop $10,000 on red. You should gamble with me. You know what I mean? Like, that's not, like, even if he's doing that for his own, personal gambling addiction. I know he's not the best example to use here because there was suspicion that he was deeply addicted to gambling. But, like, do you see what I mean? There's a difference between, like, if someone is personally gambling or whatever, that's their own thing, but they're not, like, literally marketing themselves gambling in real time in between their sets, because that would be the equivalence to like what a person getting paid specifically to gamble with the house money to try and bring in more people into the casino, into the crypto gambling casino. Anyway, from speaking with more than a dozen gambling live streamers, we were able to discern a roughly 4-tiered system to how these deals are structured, ranging from lucrative to exploitative. The most lucrative streamers are those who don't work with referral codes and are signed to massive contracts reaching millions of dollars annually. These are the big names: XQC, Drake, Aiden Ross, and so on. Like most all gambling live streamers, they stream on Kick. Celebrity partners like Drake and Mr. Ross sit at the top. Many of them don't directly earn money from an affiliate program and are instead paid millions to promote gambling on their sites to their enormous fan bases. Almost always, these streamers are famous for things other than gambling and bring their viewers with them, which often include young men, especially teenage boys, to watch them gamble for hours on streams every week. The next tier are streamers making a good amount of money and usually using referral codes. They often make well into 6 figures annually, though their compensation is often negotiated on a month-by-month basis over Discord or Telegram. There are dozens of these on Kick. The lower tier are those with small deals, often a few $100s per stream, done on a fill basis. More on that later in this thread. Depending on where they live, they may or may not be able to make a living on what they earn, and sometimes end up with nothing. The lowest rung are raw, self-funded streamers and those on microscopic fill deals. These are the guys who will bet with their own. Will bet with their own raw cash, hoping to get eyeballs on their stream and parlay that into a sponsored casino deal. The most common question I received with this story was, are these guys usually using real money? Many gambling streamers work with a fill. This is when the casino gives them a set amount in their casino wallet to gamble with. They keep some of it, some or all of it after they stream. A very common structure for a deal: streamer gets $500 a day from the casino, 5 days a week to gamble with for 90 minutes to stream. At the end of the 90 minutes, he keeps whatever is left, whether it's $0 or $1,000, sometimes with caps. Some people get huge fills, others small. For streamers already making money from Kick through their creator program, this gambling money is just cherry on top, complementing their primary income. But for many more, it's their livelihood. And as you'd imagine, many of them often develop destructive gambling addictions. Other streamers we spoke to got what they described as fake or monopoly money deals. They were given money in their crypto casino accounts to play with on the live stream, but it was non-withdrawable. The money is technically real, but they can't get it out of the casino. Some streamers are quite upfront about the nature of their deals and will describe exactly the terms of how they get the crypto they gamble with, if it's real or not, if it's a fill or if it's raw. Others are not quite so honest or avoid the topic when it's raised. This opacity keeps things fuzzy. Are you actually watching someone live? Are you actually watching someone live and die with every bet, or is it just pure entertainment with no real stakes? Many viewers gravitate towards watching degen streamers, guys with obvious crippling gambling addictions. This authenticity becomes its own spectacle with these guys all over YouTube, from their crash outs and their huge losses. One guy poured urine on his head to get $500 to gamble with, and this led to him getting a relatively short-lived streaming deal with a casino. This is literally Black Mirror shit, dude. We are living in a Black Mirror universe, okay? This is the most Black Mirror universe ass thing that I can think of. Like, this was in the last season of Black Mirror. You do a humiliation ritual to get money. You get a humiliation ritual to get money, and then you take that money and you gamble with it. Stake and Rubet, the two of the largest casinos, disagreed with many of our findings about their marketing tactics and measures to prevent underage gambling. Stake noted that its collection of sponsorship reflects the high standard to which we operate. In response to the Times findings regarding the industry's tactics, Ms. Fitzgerald said Stake had tools in place to promote responsible gaming and stop underage gambling. We implement stringent checks and use real-time monitoring systems to identify suspicious activity and prevent unauthorized platform use, she said. Ms. Fitzgerald pointed to Stake sponsorship deals with major sports leagues as evidence that it is a well-trusted company. Yeah, they use the money to normalize their existence They use the money to normalize their existence by purchasing like premium advertisement slots. And then they point to those premium advertisement slots and partnerships to say, what do you mean? We're not we don't have a shitty reputation, right? We are a legitimate company. Jeff Ifrah, a lawyer for Rubit, which is founders based in the United States, said in a statement that the site complies with all laws in accordance with its Curacao license and removes users who are violating its terms. Rubit is proud of their streaming partners and works to promote safe and responsible gaming to adult audiences, Mr. Ifrah said. Other crypto casinos include Shuffle and BC Game did not respond to our request for comment. The spokesperson for Snoop Dogg, who had a deal with Rubit that ended shortly after we sent him questions, gave this response. The other celebrity streamers we reached out to didn't respond. Drake, whose full name is Aubrey Drake Graham, declined to comment for the story through a representative, Mr. Ross, as well as XG and Trainwrecks, whose real names are Felix Lengyel and Tyler Nicknam, did not respond to requests for comment. As a spokesman for Snoop Dogg, who partnered with Rubit, said in a September statement to The Times, Snoop take these issues seriously. He's no longer working with Rubit and has no plans to do so in the future. There's much more about these crypto casinos that we wrote about, including the trouble states have in regulating these sites. Read the full investigation here. Okay? This is so far, this is one of the most comprehensive articles that's been written about this. A very long investigation that took months to put together. And the situation has gotten even more dire. If you guys recall, this was something that I warned about years ago. Okay. This was something that I first warned about. This was something that I first warned about when Stake, the actual casino, came onto the scene, right? It was something that I first said was not the best. And then when Stake was banned, then they went back to the drawing board and they basically developed their own website, which is ironic because they did it with Amazon anyway. They still use AWS, the website known as Kick. And I was punished endlessly for speaking the truth at the time. Punished endlessly, even to this day, with a ton of animosity and hatred. I warned people. I said, this is going to be very bad. A lot of people are going to going to be hurt in the process. But as I've said before, on the one hand, this kind of stuff creates enmity and animosity amongst content creators who are directly getting the bag, getting these big ass deals. But it also even creates a sense of antagonism between content creators who might want to get the bag. Because if there's someone who is a fairly large content creator who is actively saying, no, this is bad, don't do it, all of a sudden it makes other people look bad. So people have to aggressively, like content creators have to aggressively push back on this shit and vilify you. Honestly, feels like the juicer's hyper scrutiny of your whole life now is all tied back to your criticism of stake and gambling. It's part of it. Yes. That's what's so funny about it is that is a major part of this problem. Yes. Does CNN partner in Kalshi also legitimize stake, even though I don't think Kalshi is crypto? Yes, it does. It absolutely does. I was going to say that this environment has gotten even worse. This environment has gotten even more dangerous. And it ties back to something I talk about quite a bit with hustle culture and Sigma grindset memes and things like that, where people only care about hustle. People only care about the hustle. People only care about making their money, getting the bag. That is the highest priority. And it's like average people that aren't actually getting the bag in this process, but are simply riding for their favorite content creators who are actually getting the bag in the process. And the watchers are actually getting over in the process because they might develop crippling gambling addictions, lifelong crippling gambling addictions, are without realizing, advocating for this shit and defending this shit, even if it harms them. Okay? And unfortunately, things have gotten completely out of control, especially with these prediction markets, right? Which is gambling by a different name. Kalshi is another one that recently sponsored CNN. There's a partnership with CNN now between CNN and Kalshi. And it's really f***ed up. On the sports betting side, it's completely out of control. That's why you have like ESPN doing, betting segments. Do you think you contributed a little to the gambling problem by displaying your winnings in the horse races? It might incentivize people to try and gamble. No, dude. No. Okay? No. There is a difference between experiencing horse betting one time in Hong Kong, what it's famous for, or even going to Vegas one time in a live stream versus getting literally paid by a casino. Are you brain dead? What is this hypocrisy baiting, dude? No, that person is not. That person is not the woker. That person is not actually here with a sincere demand. That person is here to say that so they can clip my response and go, Hassan is actually a hypocrite. That's the difference. That person is concern trolling so that he can get a clip off and post it on Reddit, partially either working for free for a website like Kick or doing it for money. Okay? This is what it is. This is unironically what I was talking about with respect to like how you can't even have a serious conversation about this shit without people immediately turning around and being like, well, you have also contributed to this as well. It's like, dude, one guy we're talking about has gotten $100 million to do unrestrained crypto gambling directly on the crypto gambling casino website. I also am not like, I'm not shy about openly admitting that I myself gamble. I gamble all the time. I gamble relatively responsibly. Not everyone can do that, but I don't have a approach to gambling that's like ban it across the board. I've never been a prohibitionist. Okay. The difference is I don't get paid to gamble and I don't promote gambling in general. One of the biggest issues here is the accessibility. I don't know why this is like difficult for people to comprehend. The accessibility and the lack of regulation surrounding this stuff is the major problem. Okay? Like how many people am I going to influence to fly out to Hong Kong so they can also go and horse bet? This is how some people get doped up and they lose control because of how good it feels to gamble. Yeah. And if you think that a creator of my size has not been approached on numerous occasions to actively promote gambling, you're delusional. Of course I have been, with massive contracts, more money than people will make in an entire lifetime. I say no to them because I think it's inappropriate to do so. Once again, I am not and I will not be in favor of prohibition. I am in favor of regulation, okay? I'm not in favor of prohibition. I'm in favor of regulation. The issue that I have with a lot of these new initiatives is that it makes it endlessly accessible, not only just for children, but just endlessly accessible in general. If you can gamble on your phone, it makes it infinitely harder to combat. It makes it infinitely harder to deal with. Anyway, so hidden crypto casinos like BoxGG are hiding their gambling before Pokemon cards. Kalshi CEO squirming.
Why did you guys make Donald Trump Jr. a strategic advisor?
We have a lot of advisors, and they span across the board, across different functions. But really, this is all about growing this industry, the prediction market industry that a lot of people really believe in.
What kind of advice does he give you?
So it really is, again, about growing prediction markets, you know.
Yeah. The advice he gives you is how to get around any sort of what remains of the regulatory what remains of regulation. Here, look. There's always someone who is a gambling addict that has not encountered gambling yet. Okay? And they know that. Hasanabi reacts to Twitch needs to stop gambling streamers by Ludwig featuring XQC. Wait, let's take a look at your YouTube videos really quick. I lost $50,000 in Vegas and made money. How I stole $100,000 from Mr. Beast. No way. You're a gambling addict? I am so shocked, dude. This is, wow. You know, it's really a hidden addiction. You know, it really is one of those hidden addictions that you just never foresee. Like when you're a content creator and then you do a poker tournament on your page. Yeah, you really think you know a guy, and then they come out with a video and say, anyway, this era, is he looking at my video? Did he crop me? Did he put me? Are you serious, dude? This was the meme back in the day when Ludwig would crop me out of thumbnails or put his face over my face. Fake voice. I know. Anyway, dude, you are farming hate right now. Wait, what? How am I farming hate? Hassan, don't talk about Israel. You're farming hate. Hassan, don't talk about the dangers of crypto gambling, something you've talked about for years. You're farming hate. Hassan, don't talk about Kelshi and CNN. You're farming hate. What if CNN starts writing mean op-eds about you? The f*** do you mean? My entire life is farming hate from that perspective. Why do you think I have so many haters? Why? Why do you think I have so many haters? It's because there are a lot of things that people just don't want to think about, whether it be their fun that they perceive me as taking away, whether they perceive me as taking away their fun or not, doesn't matter. I've always operated with the same principle. If I see something and I think it's up, I'm gonna say it. Okay, it don't matter, because this community hate Ludwig right now. Wait, what? What the f does this have to do with Ludwig, man? No one cares about the dangers of gambling. The 12-year-old XQC watchers that are gambling aren't watching you. Yapping about gambling is bad. Stick to politics. Bro, why are you still yapping about this? Talk about the Epstein files.
He believes in prediction markets. We believe in prediction markets. A lot of people believe in prediction markets, and it's really about go-to-market and expansion plans.
Does he come to meetings? How much do you pay him? What's his role? I mean, this is the son of the president.
We have a lot of advisors, and whether it's our investors, whether it's people that we really trust and respect. Whether
He's not just any advisor. He has a direct line to the White House.
We have a lot of advisors.
Why?
Yeah, great response from this guy. Anyway, the whole point is gambling is the gambling addiction out of all the other addictions has the highest rate of suicide. Okay? A lot of people don't understand what the actual addictive nature of gambling is. It's not about winning. It's about the predictive element. It's about waiting to see whether you won or lost. That's when your dopamine spikes. Okay? And in this day and age where people are in desperate financial circumstances, they unfortunately see this as like an opportunity for upward social mobility, especially because there is no normal method of upward social mobility that is accessible or even exists. Okay? There is none. You can't get a regular 9-to-5 job and work your way through the corporation and get a pension, get a wife, have children, white picket fence home, and just live out the rest of your days happy, surrounded by friends and family with hobbies. That's not a real thing. You're stuck in a shitty ass dead end job. You hate your boss. You know you're never going to retire. You know you're never going to be able to own a home. So you take like the crumbs that you have on the side of disposable income at the end of the day and dump it into this thing because you think, well, maybe I can make it. In the absence of alternatives, that looks like a viable route. And our society keeps pumping this idea. Our society keeps normalizing this perspective. And it's impossible to combat because these companies make a shit ton of money. And the more money they make, the more they can normalize their existence, the more they can continue getting partnerships, the more they can destroy whatever kind of regulatory hurdles would normally exist. It's the same principle behind sports washing and other forms of whitewashing for like Saudi Arabia or the United Arab Emirates, right? Like Gulf states that have done a whole bunch of horrible things have unlimited funds to basically hire every celebrity to go there and talk about how wonderful and how awesome it is. until they have forcibly placed themselves in the collective consciousness of people in the Western world that might have looked at them a certain way, but no longer do, because they're like, well, my favorite celebrity went there and he really liked that experience. Maybe they're sick. My brother worked for a company that did customer service of one of these gambling things. Everything was very hush-hush. The amount of I'm going to kill myself he got in the chats are crazy. Yeah. Just start streaming, folks. Stream your 9 to 5 if you need to. Just find something to stream and stream it till all you do is stream and the money rolls in. I don't know how successful that will be, how viable that is either, but, do you, I guess. Pog. Streaming my desk job. Of course, you would say that. Scared of competition, Lamau? Yes, exactly. Once we can bet on any difference of opinion, then finally poverty will all be solved. Yeah. I work at a law firm. I can't stream my 9 to 5. I'd go to jail, literally. It, dude. Chatter's like, I'm a nurse. I feel like I wouldn't be able to stream my job. It. Did you know some people are earning 6 figures betting on things like movie reviews, album release dates, and even whether a CEO gets fired? Here are the prediction markets, the other side of this. The commodification of hope has turned into the gambling on virtually everything. Back in the day, I feel like when you had to go to a bookie or something to bet money on any kind of athletic competition, there was a separation between like the average person, the average Joe being able to do this, and the real addicts engaging in this sort of act. Now you can do it on your phone, and not only that, but now you can gamble on virtually everything. And back then, if someone like Michael Jordan, for example, would gamble on whether or not he could actually make a shot into the trash can, people kind of understood that as a guy with a serious problem. Okay? Like there are stories of Michael Jordan, putting up massive bets about whether or not he'll be able to throw trash in the trash can or something from afar. Like, and he like gambles with the security or some shit. Like, because people know that that's a big issue, right? Like when someone would do that, when someone started gambling on like their golf swings or whatever, you were like, okay, Hank, it seems like you have a little bit of a problem, right? Whereas nowadays, with the invention of prediction markets, you can basically do that on your phone, and everyone can do that. It is like completely accessible. That's like the max. If there are tiers to degenerate gambling addicts, being able to gamble on an album release date is probably the highest tier of a gambling addict. And now the highest tier of gambling addiction is completely serialized and incredibly accessible.
Some people are now making 6 figures betting on things like movie reviews, album release dates, and even whether a CEO will get fired. A new wave of prediction market traders are earning full-time incomes on platforms like Polymarket and Kalshi, where users wager on real-world outcomes in politics, sports, pop culture, and finance. And the payouts are getting big. One bettor made more than $44,000 correctly calling how Moana 2 would perform. Another pocketed $7,500 predicting the release date of Taylor Swift's latest album. And these aren't random guesses. Super users say the edge comes from being early and being obsessive. They scour small review blogs for early film reactions. They analyze.
Brother, I'm on these gambling markets. As we've shown on this broadcast before, is it Polymarket or Kalshi that has like a bet on whether or not I will attend the Zohran Mamdani swearing in ceremony, dude. Like, that's insane. That's insane. What the hell is going on? I'm not telling you guys whether I'm going to attend or not, okay? Because I don't even know. It's not even something that I had considered at all. And I hate that this is like...
song streaming data. They use AI bots to track political schedules. Some even study arbitrage techniques that look a lot.
But like, think about how up this is. I could literally every day talk about how I'm going, how I'm going to go. Definitely. And then just not show up. And I could put money on the no pick. I could dump a shit ton of money on the no pick and then make money off of my audience thinking that they're going to actually win and win big. Okay? Please do not bet on this shit. Don't be stupid. Jesus Christ. I cannot believe that we're just calling gambling on the news or even other more irrelevant shit than the news a prediction market. And when you call it a prediction market, there's less regulation surrounding it. So you can do whatever the you want, I guess. Awesome.
More like hedge fund trading than gambling. Platforms like Kalshi and Polymarket are now valued at around $10 billion, and Wall Street is paying attention. Big players, from DraftKings to FanDuels, are pushing into the space, calling prediction markets the next evolution of financial trading. But pros warn that the rush of dumb money is changing the game. These markets are peer-to-peer, meaning traders profit off of each other, not a casino. And as more users pile in, competition is getting tougher. In an October survey, Bloomberg Markets asked 406 readers about prediction markets. 90% of respondents said that they saw a convergence between gaming.
China had opium that led to their decade of humiliation. America will have Gamba. Yeah, the difference is China didn't bring the gambling apps to the United States of America. We did it to ourselves. Yeah, there's a frog in the boiling water elements on this too. On Polymarket, you can bet on whether Gaza will be ethnically cleansed. On Kalshi, you can bet on whether there will be famine in Gaza. That one paid out for yes, by the way. This is objectively depraved and should not be legal. But it is not only legal, but totally normalized and never commented on by anyone in our media. CNN, by partnering with Kalshi, is going to be reporting on the news now while offering the chance to wager on these events on mass death, starvation, dispossession, and genocide. Trying to bring fentanyl to the USA, though. Brother, the Purdue family, or the Sackler family, is not Chinese, okay? The Sackler family is American. The Sackler family is not Chinese. They are capitalists, okay? They are capitalists who wanted to make money off of an unimaginably addictive substance that they specifically lied to every doctor and pumped every healthcare provider with. That's the starting point. That's how this happened. It's pure cope to be like, well, the Chinese are shipping in the chemical substances that are necessary to create fentanyl on U.S. soil. Okay? That's just pure cope. It's pure cope. This is the problem. This is why this kind of distraction is so stupid for a lot of people, because it works on a lot of people. They go, yeah, this is not a homegrown issue that the American government refused to tackle, refused to deal with, refused to punish the people responsible for it. It must be China, you know? Is there an affordability crisis that is imminent, that is actually harming a lot of people, ruining what shred of hope Americans might have had for upward social mobility? Nah, it's the Guatemalan migrants. A lot of people who think that they're free thinkers don't realize that they're blind sheep. They hear someone go, nah, it's the Guatemalans, and they go, you know what? That seems right to me, brother. Don't need to think about it any further. It's always the free thinkers, the so-called free thinkers that actually are, that lap up all of this kind of propaganda, all of these distractions. No critical thinking whatsoever. Anyway, the fate of victims on an ongoing genocide, a genocide often supported and backed by these same investors and executives of these gambling apps, are just another chip on a roulette table. The total dehumanization of the billions of NPCs they wager on and fleece is complete and total. Someone should ask CNN reps, now that they've partnered with Kalshi, if they will be offering betting markets on air that involve wagering on mass famine and populations experience genocide, like Kalshi did a few months ago. Would love to hear their answer. They will never ask that. I'm curious, forecaster Enton, since you're reportedly the point man on this. Yeah, I hated, as much as I love Harry Emden, Holy Toledo, I hated every time he brought up Kalshi. If you recall, months prior to this full-blown announcement between CNN, this full-blown partnership between CNN and Kalshi, if you recall, he would always bring in the prediction markets into his analysis. Toledo has fallen. Anyway, Harry Emden. And you would always say this is such bad journalism, because it's not journalism. But it is a reliable source for statistics on a news show. No, it's not. No, it's not. Especially because you do it on your phone. No, there are so many instances where Kalshi and Polymarket tried to literally game out the outcome. Or so many instances where these betting markets, these prediction markets, were getting massive donations to make it seem like one candidate was actually overperforming as opposed to the real polls that were coming out. Are you crazy? But you're not allowed to bet unless you're an expert on the topic. Yeah, exactly. Only the experts are betting on Kalshi and Polymarket. At least with polls, which get things wrong, there is a vested interest in traditional polling to make sure that you are as close as possible to the final outcome. Okay? And if you get it wrong, then your reliability goes down, right? With betting markets, if you get it wrong, it doesn't matter because one side is still winning over the other. So using that, using a betting market as a reliable metric for the potential outcome of an election is insane to me because they have a perverse incentive. They don't have an incentive in being reliable. They don't give a shit whether they're reliable or not because one side is always, as a matter of fact, one side makes more money when they're unreliable, actually, because the payout is bigger.
And finance in the future. And almost an equal number say the blurring line between investing and gambling warrants further regulation. Still, many see opportunity. For traders with real skill or real luck, prediction markets have become the latest speculative boom, blurring the line between investing, gaming, and everything in between.
Anyway. All right. But yeah, this is the big article. David was 14 when he placed his first bet with a crypto casino, a website where people use cryptocurrency to gamble on online games. Stuck at home during the pandemic, he started spending more time on the sites. He watched as celebrities like Drake and the live streamer Aiden Ross played on the casinos too. Social media personalities collected huge paydays for streaming more and more videos hyping up the sites. David, meanwhile, developed a gambling addiction before he turned 18 and lost thousands of dollars. David and many people like him, young and chronically online, have been enticed by crypto casinos, an expanding realm of online gambling where long-standing guardrails are often ignored. The sites have spread across social media, taking advantage of the borderless nature of the internet. They offer hundreds of games, including blackjack, sports betting, and flashy online slot machines. They operate with fewer restrictions for gamblers by obtaining licenses in small island nations. And although they are not legal in many countries, including the United States, the casinos have become gambling havens where teenagers and problem gamblers play and even earn income by promoting the sites, a New York Times investigation has found. This flourishing industry has been built by operators willing to deploy an exploitative marketing system. The Times found that their strategies encourage reckless wagers, turn social media influencers into casino recruiters, and lure in young people, one of the demographics most vulnerable to addiction. One 20-year-old said he was first hooked on the sites in high school, placing wagers with friends after baseball practice. Another gambler said he took thousands of dollars from his parents and spent it on crypto casinos. David, who asked to be identified by his middle name to protect his privacy, said he emptied out more than $12,000 in childhood savings when he turned 18 this year and converted it into cryptocurrency on a website. He bet it all, doubled it, and then lost it all. He later took out and gambled away $4,000 in personal loans without his parents knowing, trying to earn it back. I lost sight of what money actually is, said David, who graduated from high school in May. Online gambling, particularly sports betting, has spread across the country over the last several years as more states have legalized it. Crypto casinos operate outside of these structures by functioning as offshore entities and by allowing gamblers to use cryptocurrencies in traditional financial systems. The speed at which crypto casinos are moving and the loopholes they are identifying and seizing on have left lawmakers and regulators struggling to keep up. Many sites do not have strong identity verification and are able to advertise on social media with little oversight. The other side of the story is it's infinitely harder to actually take out the money, whether you actually end up getting, even if you end up actually winning. It's also much more difficult to take out that money. It's super easy to sign up and super easy to gamble and super easy to lose real money. It's much more difficult to actually take out that real money, for the record. 8 years ago, crypto casinos were obscure websites. Now they are a multi-billion-dollar industry with dozens of operators. The success of Stake and Roobet, two of the largest casinos, has enabled them to sign partnership deals with UFC, Premier League soccer teams, and celebrity rappers like Drake and Snoop Dogg. To help drive this growth, Stake and Roobet and all other sites like Shuffle and BC.game have built an army of live streamers who broadcast themselves gambling for hours a day. The streamers create online communities centered on the casinos, and they offer giveaways to dedicated followers. All the while, crypto casinos incentivize content creators to bring in more customers through affiliate programs, which pay a commission on wagers placed by gamblers they recruit. Now, the interesting thing about Stake is that Stake couldn't actually directly sponsor a Formula One team, but Kick is technically a separate entity, even though it's not, right? Kick is a money sink, but because Stake is a money printing operation that is almost entirely controlled by like 3 people or something, all of which are like multi-billionaires at this point, they can use Kick. They can basically burn billions of dollars on Kick because they're generating billions and billions of dollars of revenue. So Stake is the actual crypto casino, but Kick is the front-facing operation of said crypto casino that has like 1 degree of separation from Stake. And therefore, if European regulators say, hey, you're an online crypto casino, you can't sponsor this Formula One team, well, Kick certainly can. You understand? Popular gambling streamers flaunt their extravagant lifestyles while their fans wager more, vying to be the next gambling influencer. Their content thrives in the manosphere, the male-centric online community where prominent voices talk about getting rich quick and skipping the traditional route to a 9-to-5 employment. As these sites grew larger, they paid online celebrities multi-million dollars to promote the casinos. In August, Drake and the famous live streamers Aiden Ross, XQ, and Trainwreck gambled together on Stake for a live audience. I've dreamed of this night. All my guys in one spot, Drake said, before the group streamed themselves gambling together for 3 hours. Drake, whose full name is Aubrey Drake Graham, declined to comment on this article through a representative, Mr. Ross, as well as XQ and Trainwrecks, whose real names are Felix Lengyel, Tyler Nicknam, did not respond to a request for comment. A spokesman for Snoop Dogg, we already covered that part. To understand how these sites built an online marketing machine, the Times analyzed hundreds of videos produced by gambling streamers, sifted through thousands of messages in online chat rooms, obtained private messages sent by casino representatives, and reviewed cryptocurrency data from gamblers and the casinos. The Times also spoke to more than 24 people who worked in the crypto casino world, including affiliate streamers, marketing managers, and casino employees. Some said it was an open secret that the marketing practices could encourage gambling addictions and entice underage gamblers. Thousands of people have produced videos of themselves gambling on crypto casinos. In August, viewers of the top 100% gambling streamers watched 12 million hours of their videos, according to data from the analytics website Streams Charts. The finances of crypto casinos, which, by the way, I think like Streamer Charts. What? As a self-proclaimed socialist, why do you take part in Christmas, which is purely a capitalist manipulation of people to spend money? It's not even related to Jesus. Dude, no, this is not a too woke chatter. No, you don't understand. I don't think this is a too woke chatter. This is not like, this is a person who's either memeing, okay? And I assume this person is actually, no, this person is just memeing, okay? They're not being sincere. They're not being sincere. I'm not memeing, I swear. Jesus was not born on the 25th. Okay, never mind. This person is a too woke chatter. I'm 100% sincere. Oh my God. Brother, I'm also not a Christian. Like if Christmas was a 100% Christian holiday, it still would be strange for me to celebrate it, I guess. It's because I'm not a antisocial weirdo, okay? I enjoy fun things. I don't give a shit whether or not it's like whether or not this is a true Christian holiday or not. Are you okay? We also do a thing called socialismus as well, where I'll take Amazon wish lists of chatters and I'll fulfill them as Santa Claus, you know? Also, yeah, I'm waging war on Christmas as well. I'm turning it into socialismus. Anyway, I do like that that's the extent of but why is it tied to spending? What do you mean? Americans have made commodity consumption a formative aspect of every holiday. It's awesome. I like that. I'm not shy about saying I like that. I enjoy it. I think it's fun. Okay? Because I'm not an insane person, I guess. An insanely antisocial person. Let's not be, oh my God, he's still debating this. Let's not be naive. They 100% try to shove products and spending down our throats for a holiday that is made up. Yes, chatter, that's the whole point. Why the f do you think there's a concept called Black Friday right after Thanksgiving? All of this revolves around spending, okay? And the answer to you is because it's fun and that you should be able to enjoy things and not be a weirdo. What the hell? Socialist, by the way. Exactly. Socialism means no fun. You must live a boring, ascetic lifestyle. Anyway. Labeling the YouTube streamers in partnership with Steak, but not the Kick streamers. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is Stream Charts, I guess. Top streaming analytics site Streams Charts has begun attaching in partnership with Stakes to unaffiliated streamers in their 2025 recap. Ludwig, Valkyrie, iShowSpeed, and several others appear on the site, labeled in partnership alongside the illegal online casino. That is insane. Illegal online casino when Stake in 2025 is one of the most regulated gambling brands. Like, how do you find yourself fighting for, like, you are the Japanese soldier who kept fighting 29 years after World War II, okay? Like, how are you finding yourself at any point in time advocating for the interests of a unregulated crypto gambling casino on the internet, dude? It blows my mind that there are people like this out there. Like, you are less than a human at that point. I mean, which this person might literally be a bot regardless. But like, this is crazier than people who lose their minds at the fact that like a major multi-billion-dollar corporation might actually have a lower profit margin if workers decide to unionize or something. You know what I mean? This is even more insane. Like, you have no, like, what is the brand loyalty that you're demonstrating towards a cryptocurrency casino on the internet? It makes no sense. This question asked this is why XQC spends all day hating on you. I had no idea why he hated you so much. Wait, this is a part of it. It's not the only reason, but it's a big part of it for sure. That's definitely when our relationship soured and he started calling me a snake. Hassan. It was just pure projection. Love you to death, homie, but how can you deny having anything to do with this? Auntie boy on Instagram. I'm tired of being not Chinese. Okay, calm down, chatter. We're talking about serious shit. But yeah, that is a lot of, I forget that there's a lot of like new watchers who are probably completely unaware. It is a lot of new chatters are completely oblivious or unaware to like what this relationship used to look like back in the day. It's also, what was it? Slippery slope to make lying illegal. Lol, we are cooked. Fuck, what was the, there was another thing I was going to say and I'm forgetting. Yes, I know the United States seized the oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela. Okay, I know. There was another thing I was going to say. Oh, something that XQC even admitted the other day on Twitter, like a while back, was basically like that all the streaming space fell apart because of all this drama, right? Like that was because back in the day, all the streamers were close friends with one another, you know, and not like fake. Straight up, we would hang out off camera. And there was much more of a collaborative nature with the content that we were creating. Something that you see with like clicks on the platform right now with like the FaZe Boys, AMP and whatnot. It was broader than that, right? And yeah, I mean, we used to do like shit camp. This is a great example of this. Like all of these content creators, many of which you now like, you'll be shocked to see next to one another.
It's a 5-minute walk. Is this a hot dog?
Many of these content creators that you will never, see next to one another used to collaborate with one another with regular frequency all the time. And basically XQC admitted that like the reason why the streaming space fell apart is because Pokey and Hassan came after gambling on the platform. Like he said something along those lines on Twitter. Like he admitted that. And it's like, how is that not a ridiculous admission? How is that not an admission of guilt personally? I can't recall where it was, but he says, I remember seeing something like that on him posting something like that on Twitter when people were talking about like how the streaming space fell apart and how everybody started like arguing with one another and there was like a shit ton of drama. And he was replying to Pokemon's drama tweet. Oh, okay. It was something along those lines. Do you guys have it? If you could send it to me, I'll pull it up. But he said something along the lines of basically saying like Pokemon is directly responsible for drama blowing up on the platform. And the reason why, drama blew up on the platform is because Pokemon and Hassan or some shit like that came after gambling on the website. It's like, wow, sorry. Yeah. I guess everybody deserved being thrown under the hate train because they dared question whether or not it was appropriate. They dared question whether or not it was appropriate to get get your somewhat underage audience hooked on a crippling gambling addiction. Yeah. Daily reminder that I was doing GTRP by day, slots by night in my corner, streaming until everyone heard. Farm me and Trainwrecks TV for drama and clicks. Miss me with that energy. Walk the walk. You can reply to her post directly. It's on the same website. Also, I just read this again. What the fuck are you even saying? People know where I stand on everything always. Do you think she doesn't know? That's how I view things. Pick unrelated. Yeah, just say it to her instead of replying to Fearbook. You are 30 years old, lol, learning how to grow a spine from Jellywig. Afterwards, the most prominent streaming circle completely dissolved. Relationships broken. We ended up so divided that kick had to be made, which even though it created competition, divided us even more. Want streaming to be more about games? Play games. I mean, this is literally a admission, right? Am I crazy? This is the closest we will ever arrive to something that I say all the time, which is that these guys wanted to make money and they basically were willing to throw under the bus previous friends of theirs because, they were calling into question the ethics and the morality of like having an unregulated crypto gambling casino on the website let loose on these audiences. Like, this is just a self-report, but unfortunately, because critical thinking is not exactly common nowadays, people see this and go, yeah, that's my base juicer, I guess. It blows my mind. Anyway. And keep in mind, there's already super rich people doing all this shit to get even more rich. Yeah, that's also another part of this puzzle as well. I don't know. It's just like, I genuinely don't think Felix understands he's giving up the game. I don't think he realizes he's saying it was more important to collab strictly for money by his logic than anything else, and that since Gamba got him a bigger bag, he just went with that. I don't think he recognizes he's snitching on himself. I don't think he's snitching on himself. He recognizes he's snitching on himself, but I think his audience also doesn't recognize that he's basically taking, he's admitting to responsibility on like why the streamer space fell apart. In his mind, he thinks, I'm a good guy. Of course, I'm going to take the gambling money. What the fuck are you talking about? And all the people that are criticizing that are bad guys. I was also still fairly understanding of like the development of Kick at the time as well. I just had a lot of concerns. I had a lot of warnings for both XUC and Trainwrecks. Many of those warnings became reality when we found out that, when you have an unmoderated platform, you end up having people who distribute and disseminate CSAM, for example, child sexual abuse material, and a whole bunch of other nonsense on the platform, right? But of course, there's no reward for being right, especially being right too early. The finances of crypto casinos, private companies licensed outside the United States, are not public. Stake told Forbes it earned $4.7 billion in gambling revenue in 2024, more than MGM reported earning from casino games at all of its Las Vegas properties. Stake would not comment to the Times about its finances. Some of the largest crypto casinos are finding new ways to navigate global legal landscape to bring in more customers. While Stake's original crypto casino, Stake.com, is licensed in Curacao, it later created additional platforms in more highly regulated countries like Italy and Brazil. In the United States, Stake started Stake.us, which it says legally operates in most states. It circumvents the need to obtain a gambling license by calling itself a social casino where players use virtual currency instead of real money. But ongoing lawsuits, including one from Los Angeles City Attorney, argue that Stake.us still functions as a casino by allowing players to purchase the virtual currency and withdraw it as cryptocurrency. Audrey Fitzgerald, the head of global communications at EasyGo, the Australian company behind Stake, said, Stake.us rejects the allegations in the Los Angeles lawsuit. She said Stake no longer saw itself as a crypto casino business because of its expansion into markets that accept only traditional currencies. Many U.S. gamblers who spoke to the Times say they still prefer Stake.com and were willing to mask their location to access it from the United States. In response to the Times findings regarding the industry's tactics, Ms. Fitzgerald said Stake had tools in place to promote responsible gaming and stop underage gambling. We implement stringent checks and use real-time monitoring systems to identify suspicious activity and prevent unauthorized platform use, she said. Ms. Fitzgerald pointed to Stake sponsorship deals with major sports leagues as evidence that it's a well-trusted company. Yeah, it's like we have so much money that we can actually purchase legitimacy, and then we can use the purchased legitimacy to say we're legitimate. That's sick. But that is how it works. Jeff Ifra, a lawyer for Rubit, which is founders based in the United States, said in a statement that the site complies with all laws in accordance with its Curaçao license and removes users who are violating its terms. We already covered that part. Because their brains are still developing, teenagers and young adults under 25 are a demographic at high risk of developing addictions, according to experts who study gambling problems. It's impossible to know how many minors are using crypto casinos. The sites themselves do not have accurate information because the customers use false identities. And there isn't substantial research or data on the topic, the experts said. Still, mental health clinicians who work with young people see signs that the problem is growing. Matt Missar, a gambling counselor at the Better Institute in Pittsburgh, said he had seen a few dozen patients between 16 and 26 years old in recent years, and most of them were gambling on crypto casinos. They're watching these streamers, and these streamers are winning their bets, Mr. Missar said. They have this false notion in their head that it's just a matter of time until I hit it big like Drake did, or like Aiden Ross did. Nancy Key, a therapist based in New York who sees patients with online addictions, said she has been treating more young adults with gambling problems over the last few years. They develop anxiety, she said. They're not sleeping, they're not sleeping, they're dropping out of school. They're thinking that their career is going to be like this. The backbone of this industry, after Bitcoin, the first major cryptocurrency, gained wider traction in 2017, sites like Stake and Rubit helped transform online cryptocurrency gambling into a major business. Their focus on social media marketing, especially through the live streaming platform Twitch, brought in popularity across the globe. But in 2022, Twitch banned videos promoting crypto casinos amid growing concerns about user safety. Stake's founders quickly built a solution. They started their own live streaming website called Kick with fewer rules and restrictions, which has proved to be a boon for streamers who are signed on to be affiliates for crypto casinos. Affiliates are the backbone of this industry, said Akil Sarin, the chief marketing officer of EasyGo, who has worked on Stake's marketing for years, during an April podcast interview. Anyone registered to play on the casino's website can become an affiliate and start trying to earn more money with their content. Affiliates are given their own referral code to share with their followers, and they get a commission on wagers placed by people who sign up with that code, calculated based on the odds of the games they play. Slots, which are popular in gambling streams, tend to earn higher commissions than skill-based games like blackjack. Streamers can see the program as pathway to earning a living making videos, but the Times found it essentially turns them into casino promoters who need to keep their fans gambling. The overall marketing system generates more wagers through deals between crypto casinos and different tiers of streamers. We covered the different tiers earlier. The financial incentives for streamers can encourage people to make reckless decisions on camera for views. Degen, short for degenerate gambling, where people make outrageous wagers, is celebrated by fans on social media. And we talked about it already. Someone pissed on himself, or someone dumped piss on himself to get $500 as a part of a dare from another streamer. And shortly after, BetVault, a small crypto casino, gave him a paid deal to make more gambling content. They were like, yes, this is exactly what we're looking for. Some gambling streams misled fans who may believe they are watching people take real risks. Mislead fans. Two affiliate streamers told The Times that they earn a flat payment as a part of their deals and that the wagers in the videos have no stakes. The money is provided by the casino and they cannot keep their winnings. As streamers have been pushed to bring in more customers, this was a big drama internally in the gambling sphere. Like some streamers actually play with house money and don't even get any earnings, win or lose, in those games, and they're just faking it. And other streamers actually do get fat contracts and they get a flat fee. Ironically enough, they get paid a lot more than these other guys do. But they're actually playing with their own money, so the stakes are real, right? As streamers have been pushed to bring in more customers, they've developed techniques to reel them in. Take a live stream from Club Cheddar, a gambling streamer account. Club Cheddar did not respond to a request for interview. The main video features a streamer gambling on different games for hours with live reactions and commentary drumming up excitement. Simultaneously, viewers are chatting with one another and the streamer, cheering on the wages. The streamer promotes the affiliate code throughout the stream and sometimes offers giveaways to people who are watching. To encourage more bets, some streamers have leaderboards that give out rewards to fans who have gambled the most in a month. The leaderboards can reveal how much some fans are willing to wager on crypto casinos. The top 5 fans of SizTims, one of the most popular gambling streamers, wagered more than $1 million each in September alone, according to their leaderboard SizTims publishes online. Yeah. Anyway, in 2017, Sam DeMello was 30 and struggling with a gambling addiction when he asked every gambling website he used to ban him. The process known as self-exclusion is one of the key tools available to stop problem gambling. According to experts, and states with regulated gambling require casinos to honor the bans. He said even the offshore sports betting sites he used properly excluded him. Then Mr. DeMello found some of the early crypto casinos. The sites were the only place he could continue betting when he relapsed, he said. because they ignored his attempts to self-exclude. I basically put myself into the black market, he said. Now, years after he successfully quit gambling, he still gets calls from those smaller crypto casinos encouraging him to return. Since creating Evive, a mobile app that provides support for people experiencing gambling problems, he has heard similar stories over and over. The casinos also became known for weak or non-existent identity verification protocols that failed to ensure gamblers met minimum age requirements and were located in countries where the sites were legal. A study conducted in 2022 found that 37 out of the 40 popular crypto casinos did not require proof of identity before accepting monetary deposits. They do require identity when you are taking out the money, however, and that's the point. It's very easy to lose money on these websites. It's very difficult to get the money back if you actually win. Gaps in the oversight system have created new markets where people sell verified crypto casino accounts registered with false identities, according to messages reviewed by The Times. One Canadian man who spoke to The Times said he made more than $18,000 this year by creating accounts using real IDs collected in India and Kenya and providing them to gamblers, most of whom were in the United States. The man, who shared photos, IDs, and financial details with The Times, requested not to be named because of the illicit nature of this operation. Before he turned 18, David, the young gambler who emptied out his savings, participated in streamer leaderboards and chat rooms. He gambled with a false identity on multiple casinos, including Stake and Roobet, and had a private VIP host from Shuffle offering him rewards. The Times spoke to several U.S.-based affiliate streamers who can broadcast their illegal gambling sessions on crypto casinos. In one case, a Stake representative helped a Texas-based streamer sidestep his identity verification to stream from the United States, according to private messages The Times reviewed. Our terms of service bar our Stake.com affiliates from operating in or targeting users in restricted regions such as the U.S. The reason why, by the way, before Stake.us was implemented or created, that's the reason why a lot of these guys would fly to Mexico or fly to Canada. If you remember, like a lot of these guys, XQC included, would literally just like travel to other countries where there was less regulation around this sort of thing. Some of them straight up moved to those places permanently. In their quest for growth, crypto casinos also spent millions recruiting YouTube personalities and Twitch live streamers whose initial fame came from playing video games and filming pranks for young male viewers. For example, Steven Delonardis, known as the prank video star Steve Will Do It Online, signed a deal with Roobet to live stream himself gambling on the website. Mr. Lengyel, XQC, one of the most popular video game streamers on Twitch, signed a 2-year exclusive deal in 2023 worth up to $100 million with Kick, the streaming platform created by Stake's founders. Recently, Mr. Ross, who started streaming video games as a teenager, claimed to his viewers that he earned $100 million by signing a new partnership deal with Rainbet, another crypto casino. Rainbet did not respond to questions or confirm the details of the deal to The Times. In 2020, Aiden Ross first gained online popularity on Twitch by playing video games like NBA 2K. In 2022, in the years before Twitch banned crypto casino games, Mr. Ross started streaming himself playing casino games on the site like Stake. 2025, for the last 3 years, Mr. Ross has streamed himself gambling on crypto casinos on Kick. Some crypto casinos have even worked with streamers who were under 21. Duel, a new crypto casino that started this year, was promoted by Neon, a young social media celebrity who first made a video as a preteen and now has more than 250 million views on YouTube. Neon, whose real name is Michael Rafik, made promotional gambling videos in July when he was still 20 and appeared to be streaming from his home in California, where the online gambling is illegal, according to The Times analysis of his streams. He said in a video that he had a contract to stream himself gambling. In one stream, he told his fans, "I remember when I was a 17-year-old kid gambling every day. It was so much fun." Duel and Mr. Rafik did not respond to a request for comment. "You're having a largely unregulated, largely Wild West kind of approach to advertising," said Joshua Grubbs, an associate professor at the University of New Mexico who studies online addictions. Addictive behaviors are normalized, and streamers like Mr. Ross and Mr. Rafik have admitted during their videos to having gambling problems.
I lost every dollar of crypto. When I was 17, I had like a crippling gambling addiction. I was sports betting like $100K a day, and I lost it all.
The absence of guardrails means that disproportionately large number of people are going to develop problems, Mr. Grubbs said. Even though crypto casinos have existed for years, regulators around the world have struggled to control them. In the United States, gambling is mostly regulated at the state level with different laws in each state. Online casino games are legal only in 7 states, and none of them allow gambling with cryptocurrencies. But the fragmented regulatory system and outdated laws have left authorities slow to react. The young people who use the sites, on the other hand, have become increasingly sophisticated. They use virtual private networks or VPNs to hide their locations, and they are well-versed in social media networks where illicit activity is encouraged. So the thing is, having this administration, which is seemingly the most open-minded to transparent graft, right, is probably the best bet that these guys are ever going to make. Watch out. No. It's probably the best opportunity for websites like this to gain complete legitimacy in the United States of America, because all it takes is to get Donald Trump's ear. That's it. So that's the other side of the story as well. We have a president that is doing crypto rug pulls himself personally, that's pardoning other cryptocurrency criminals personally because they're investing into his cryptocurrency rug pull. So do I have any confidence that the administration, this administration or any other administration, is actually going to try to put a stop to this incredibly profitable business that is generating billions of dollars of revenue? Absolutely not. The kids are much more technologically advanced than the lawmakers and the researchers that are trying to provide stopgaps or controls for them, said Miss Key, the New York-based therapist. XQC Chat says they love you, lol. I'm surprised to hear that. I feel like that's the last time I heard that from XQC Chat was, before he went to kick.tv. There was a time when it was like that. Anyway, some U.S. states have taken action to disrupt crypto casinos and other illegal gambling websites. The Michigan Gaming Control Board said it had sent more than 100 cease and desist letters, including one to Stake's U.S. operation, Stake.us, to stop allowing gamblers from Michigan to use the site. But the ability of state regulators to crack down on these sites is limited, especially because crypto casinos are licensed overseas and use cryptocurrencies. Many of the smaller sites don't have an actual address or a point of contact. Legal experts said certain states have laws banning advertising of illegal gambling, which could be used against crypto casino streamers based in the United States. So far, no regulatory action has been taken against them. For the record, I don't hate anybody. I don't hate XCC. I don't hate anybody. I just wish that there was less drama in this space. I wish that there was less gambling in this space. I wish there was less promotion of vices such as gambling in this space, because I do think it's overall very harmful to the audiences that are watching that don't realize that they're buying into this lie and getting saddled with lifelong gambling debt potentially. Okay? That's it. XQC calls you a commie terrorist. Yeah, I don't care. People, listen. People call me a bunch of different names, okay? Other content creators do this as well. They farm it. They farm the hate so they can, generate drama, generate clicks for themselves. I don't care. If I spent a good deal of time getting upset about that sort of thing and, thinking about how things went wrong all the time, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing and talk about the news. I'd have to consistently cry on camera about how many of the large content creators have actively farmed hatred off of my name. Ironically enough, for the positions that I hold, which many of the audiences will inevitably arrive at the same conclusions on. Okay? That's it. I'd go insane, and the content that I put out would be awful. It'd be dull. You would hate it. Okay? Time will vindicate me, as it has time and time again. Okay? It sucks that the space is fallen apart, and there's so much drama, and there's so much clickbaiting, and so much clip farming, and so much hatred. And even the FaZe boys are finding out about that as well. Because once a community gets to a certain size, all of these other drama-focused streamers will start seizing on that fame, seizing on that shine, and will actively farm hatred off of them. And it just happens to there is a contingency of parasitic streamers and other content creators in the periphery that are always looking to farm drama off of whatever the other people are doing. Some of them are the largest content creators on this platform. They will masquerade this incredibly self-interested initiative that makes the place way more toxic, makes this space way more toxic, they'll frame it as accountability. Okay? They'll frame it as though they are actually demanding accountability when in fact there is no need or no such demands for accountability at all. They just want to beef up the toxicity, push and pull in different places. And all of that creates content for them. Their entire content relies on this. None of that shit would get traction if there wasn't an appetite from it from the audiences, though. The problem is US in reality. Yes, there is an appetite from the audiences for sure. Okay? There is. It's very real. It's unfortunate, but there's not really much you can do about it. I think that streamers should have, or content creators should have a higher degree of responsibility with what they promote and what they push for, though, in my opinion. In August, the coalition of 50 U.S. attorneys generals admitted they needed help addressing the growing problem of illicit online gambling, including crypto casinos. In a letter to Attorney General Pam Bondi, they asked for the Justice Department's assistance to seize assets and internet domain names from illegal online gambling operations and to block access to their websites. Since 2013, U.S. DOJ enforcement actions against illegal offshore gambling sites have been extremely limited, the letter said. A spokeswoman for the Justice Department told the Times in response that illegal internet gambling sites pose a threat to public safety and that the department was committed to holding these operators accountable. Will they actually do it? I don't know. If they actually even initiate some sort of legal response to these crypto gambling casinos and websites and whatnot, I suspect that they will very quickly nip it in the bud by cutting the middlemen and going directly to Donald Trump, who, as we know, is very pliant when it comes to people giving him money. One of the most openly corrupt administrations of all time. If you recall, Adin Ross and XUC personally promoted Donald Trump as well, so there is already a direct in that regard on kick.tv. So Donald Trump is a man who will return that favor. Robin Singh, the team leader for the Queens Problem Gambling Resource Center in New York City, said the virtual nature of social media videos easily outpace the awareness efforts. We can't keep up with the most popular streamers that are on the internet, Mr. Singh said. That's the problem. Unfortunately, that the issue spreads way faster than the solution does. And that is the long-ass article that I just read from the New York Times, a month-long investigation that came out on the dangerous nature of crypto gambling casinos inside the dark and predatory world of crypto casinos. Okay? Rare New York Times W, you have to remember something. This is why I always still say mainstream media is an incredibly important resource, okay? This is why I say it's an important resource. Although their impact and their reach is diminished, and although they still, when it comes to like foreign policy related things, will always play the State Department line uncompromisingly, unflinchingly. When it comes to like domestic affairs and things of that nature, there are still very good articles that they write. There's still always going to be good investigative reporting that takes place in these websites. Okay? I think in today's day and age, calling something popular needs to be considered differently. Drama clips might be popular, but is that because they are genuinely popular or because the algorithms are promoting it? It's like when Facebook altered the algos to show folks way more video content. It wasn't as popular as the views of the algos showed. I mean, there's definitely a popularity argument for this. That's why, listen, this is also part of the reason why I always say, look, you might be disagreeing with me right now. Just give it a couple months, maybe a year, and you might find yourself agreeing with me, okay? At least that's how it's gone so far. That's why whenever I receive pushback for a take that I have on like something that people consider to be popular or haven't really thought too much about and yell at me over, I just say, look, history will vindicate me and I move on. Okay?